Vince McMahon would have said superstar or sports entertainer, not wrestler. That's an industry term that's not really supposed to be used anymore. So when someone in the industry does, it means a very specific thing, and I have a pretty good understanding of what that meaning in the industry is as well. And then all time, that's pretty specific. But so, with the help of my WWE expert guru extraordinaire, best of all time, Doug Sanders, we comprised our top 10 greatest wrestlers of all time list. And here's the criteria, and then we'll get it out of the way quick, okay? Criteria. Our primary criteria is wrestling ability. That comes down to technical in-ring wrestling ability. Your ability to do the moves, your innovativeness in the moves, your athleticism, your strength, your agility, your innovativeness, how tight you perform all the moves, or if you're really loose, if you're sloppy and don't hit your marks. Because I said HBK isn't even in the top 10, let alone, the greatest. So that's the main primary criteria, followed by in-ring charisma. All of this stuff, since he said wrestler, no promos or anything like that, mic skill cutting stuff is taken into consideration. He said wrestler. That means the only things being judged are what that guy does, what a performer does from the time he walks out of the curtain at a live event in front of at the show, for a match until he goes back into the curtain. So in-ring charisma, your ability to get heel responses, to get babyface responses, to still be able to tell the story and engage the audience, is also factored in here, as well as miscellaneous bonuses or subtractions, what have you. And then we tried to keep everything strictly to in-ring, not counting cutting promos and things like that. And also we tried to keep it to, we didn't include any wrestlers who aren't retired. Therefore, John Cena and Brock Lesnar are not on this top 10. However, they would have not been any higher than number 10, even if they would have made the list, because we had 9 for sure before they were even considered. But so Lesnar, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins are all honorable mentions that aren't eligible because they are still wrestling. All right, so let's get it done, okay? Paul's Deep Thought of the Day, top 10 greatest wrestlers of all time based on the criteria I just told you. At number 10, you are going to have to decide for me. It is a two-way tie between Kurt Angle and Ric Flair. Not going to go into depth. Flair gets the charisma benefit. Angle gets the technical benefit. Flair underrated and underappreciated technically, though. Angle underrated and underappreciated charisma-wise. You vote on Balls Deep. Who's number 10? Greatest wrestler of all time, Ric Flair or Kurt Angle. Number 9 is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Maxed out technical ability, very good in-ring charisma. Number 8, we have Bret the Hitman Hart. Again, maxed out technical ability, very good. Well, good. I would say good charisma. But miscellaneous, title, his ability to get himself over, and just, it's a tough one. I mean, maybe Bret should be 9, and Steamboat should be 8. But that's what we settled on. So Bret the Hitman Hart, number 8. Number 7, Triple H, the Cerebral Assassin. That's right. Triple H is number 7. There's, what can't he do? About the only thing he doesn't do technical wrestling-wise is too much, high-flying type of stuff. But he can, every move he does, he's a great technical tight wrestler, excellent power, takes big bumps. Bump taking is included in your technical ability, a la no Shawn Michaels on this list. Again, the whole point of this list, the whole inspiration for this list was at least 10 wrestlers that are greater than Shawn Michaels was. So 8, we got Bret the Hitman Hart. 7, we got Triple H. Some people are going to argue with that, but they're wrong. Number 6, we've got Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. From this point on, 6 through 1, there's no weaknesses, okay? It's a lot of preference. but there are very little to no weaknesses. Great technical, great charisma. What do you want? Number 5, above his big brother, Owen Hart. That's right, the 5th greatest wrestler of all time, the greatest wrestler in the Hart family of all time, one Owen Hart. As good technically as you can get, phenomenal underappreciated charisma, just a class act all the way around. Number 4, this was really tough. 4 and 3 was super hard for us, but with number 4 we ended up with Y2J, Chris Jericho. Again, there's nothing the guy can't do, maybe lacking just a tiny bit of power. Number 3, Eddie Guerrero. That's right, Latino Heat. He can do everything Y2J can do, and maybe just a tiny bit more because he's a little bit stronger. And top-notch charisma. Eddie Guerrero was the type of guy that didn't need a storyline to still tell a story in ring. He could still engage you and you understood what was going on and why they were fighting and who you were supposed to cheer for and all that stuff. Y2J, well, he was great at that as well. Y2J excelled more with actual storyline, promo, mic skills, that type of stuff was where he really excelled. And that's more of our top 10 greatest superstars list, which is totally different and something we're going to do hopefully next week. I'm going to try to have a WWE top 10 list for you maybe every week. We'll see. But so Eddie Guerrero, rest in peace, our number 3 greatest wrestler of all time, and way, way, way better than Shawn Michaels. So that brings us down to the final 2. Our number 2 greatest wrestler of all time is none other than Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah, dig it. And this was a very debatable, is he number 1 or number 2? Kind of a 1A, 1B, but for argument's sake, we had to make a choice and we settled with him for number 2. So that brings us to number 1. But before we do number 1, let's get our last couple bit of honorable mentions out of the way for people who were really great wrestlers of all time but didn't make our top 10. Again, the current wrestlers: Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins. Former wrestlers: Chris Benoit, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mick Foley, CM Punk, Rey Mysterio, Brian Pillman, Rick Rude, and kind of sort of HBK, Shawn Michaels. But that brings us to our number 1 greatest wrestler of all time, closing out Balls Deep Thought of the Day and Balls Deep Sports Talk here this week. Drum roll, please. The number 1 greatest wrestler of all time, according to me, is The Undertaker. That is right. Guy revolutionized the business. No one of his size has ever been able to do what he has done from a technical wrestling standpoint. Such a commanding, charismatic presence, requiring little to no speaking. But when he does, it's powerful. And, that's it. Undertaker's the greatest wrestler of all time, followed by Randy the Macho Man Savage, followed by Eddie Guerrero, followed by Chris Jericho, followed by Owen Hart. Shawn Michaels, your name is nowhere on this top 10 list, let alone at number 1, like you think it is. All right, that's it for this show, man. We went way over time. Sorry, but I was just having too much fun. Thanks for tuning in this week. Hopefully you tune in every week on WNLMradio.com on Wednesday nights or all day Saturday for our Balls Deep Sports Talk Marathon starting at noon, running to 7 or 8 p.m. every Saturday. Again, that's on WNLMradio.com. Otherwise, if you want to listen on demand, you can do that 24/7 on the Spreaker app, the TuneIn app, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And make sure, whatever you do, if you're a fan of the show, make sure you like and friend me on Facebook at Scotty-Ball. And for crying out loud, follow the show on Twitter at BDST Show. All right, that's it. I'm out. See you next week. We would come to you, same Balls Deep time, same Balls Deep channels. I'm out. Peace.